Hey there, I'm Meg, and welcome back to the Confident Client series. I'm a Squarespace web designer and SEO specialist, but more than that, for this journey, I like to consider myself your confidence catalyst because my goal is to bridge the gap between your expertise and your online presence so you can show up confidently online. And if you're new here, this series is all about helping you make confident, informed decisions about your website. Now, today, we're going to be talking about how to prepare for your first discovery call with a web designer, because showing up prepared makes for a better conversation and helps you both determine if it's going to be a good fit. Now, most designers are going to offer a free consultation call to see if you are a good fit for each other, and they're generally going to be about 20 to 30 minutes, and that's not a lot of time. So if you show up unprepared, you're going to spend the whole call explaining the basics, and you won't get into real questions that'll help you decide if this designer is going to be right for you. And they won't have enough time to figure out if you're a good fit for them either. But if you show up prepared, you can have a strategic conversation that actually moves you forward. So what should you have ready? Let's start with the basics. First, your current website URL, if you have a current website. Now, your designer may have requested this ahead of time. So if you have an existing site, share it up front. The designer will be sure to look at it before the call or during the call. But be honest with them about what's not working on your current site. And remember that they're not there to judge you. They want to understand what's going on with your business and your website so they can help you problem solve. And your designer may have asked you to give them the link to your website when you booked the call, but if not, you should be giving it to them during the call. Number 2, you need to be able to give them a business overview. Be ready to clearly explain to them what you do, who you serve, what your primary services and offerings are, and what makes you different from your competitors. What's your unique special sauce? Number 3, what are your website goals? Don't just say, I just need a website, or I need it to get a redesign and make it look nicer. You need to get specific. What do you want your website to accomplish? What action do you want your visitors to take? And what's not working about your current website? What's driving this decision to upgrade or redo your website right now? So for example, you might say, I want my website to clearly communicate my expertise and convert my consultation calls into paying clients. Right now, I think people are confused about what I actually offer. Number 4 is your timeline. When do you need this website project to be done? Be realistic, but also be honest about why. For example, you might say, I'd love to launch this website within 6 weeks because I'm speaking at a conference and I want to be able to send people to my new website. That is incredibly helpful information to your designer. And number 5, your budget. Now, hopefully, the designer has already shared their price points prior to your call, either on their website page or on the intake form. But if not, sharing your budget range would help your designer determine if they can serve you. So if your budget is $2,000 and their packages start at $5,000, it's better to know that upfront rather than fall in love with the idea of working together, only to find that you can't afford it. And just a brief pause for a little bit of a controversial take, but if the designer has clearly shared their price points in advance, don't request a call with them if they're clearly not in your budget. It's just not cool, and you're going to be wasting your time as well as theirs. Also note that you don't need to share your absolute maximum of your budget, but making sure that you share a range is perfectly fine. That's just going to give them good information to work from. Let's talk about some of the strategic stuff that you should have ready. Some examples of what you love, maybe on other websites or just generally speaking. You could be sharing things about the types of colors, layouts, features that you like, maybe something as simple as the vibe you're trying to get across, certain header navigation styles or blog setups that you like. Basically, you're just trying to give the designer a sense of your taste and your expectations, both aesthetically and technically. Now, some of your brand elements. If you already have a logo or a color palette or fonts that you're using that you really like and you want to keep them, you're going to want to let your designer know that and be prepared to share them with them if you have them handy. The flip side of that is if you're not happy with your current logos and colors and fonts, that's equally important to be able to share that with them so they can see what you have and know that that's not the direction you necessarily want to go. Finally, your content situation. Be honest with the designer about what content you have or will need to create as a part of this project. So do you already have copy written, have worked with a copywriter, for example? Or does that need to be part of this project? Do you already have professional photos? Do you have clear descriptions of your services? Do you know generally what pages you're going to need on your website? So are you going to need a simple 5-page site, or are you going to need something more complex with a blog or e-commerce or a membership or a course? And do you have content for that? The designer is most likely going to be looking for is just an understanding of what you have and what's going to need to be a part of the scope of your project, so they can include that in their proposal and price it accordingly. Now, what questions should you be bringing to the call? You don't want to show up without questions. Remember, you're interviewing each other, so to speak. You want to find out if they're a good fit, and just as they're trying to figure out if you're a good fit. So I'm going to go over a few good ones here for you, but if you haven't already, be sure to watch the video in this series on the 10 questions you must ask your designer. I'll link that above. But at a high level, you want to ask them about their process. Questions like, what does your typical time frame look like? How many revision rounds are included? What happens if I'm delayed with the content? What's your communication style and response time? You want to ask them about deliverables. What exactly is included in your package? Will my site be SEO optimized? What kind of training do you provide? And what happens after launch? And you want to ask about them. Why did you become a web designer? What types of projects do you enjoy the most? And what makes your approach different from other designers? And you may even ask, can I speak with a past client? And you also want to ask things that will help you understand if it's a good fit. Do you think my project is a good fit for you? Are there any potential challenges you foresee with my project? And what else will you need from me to make this project successful? So those are all great examples of questions you can ask. But here's what I want to make sure you don't do on the call, because these things can make consultations awkward and go south pretty quick. As much as I've mentioned here that this is an interview, don't treat it like a job interview. Remember, this isn't an adversarial conversation. You're both here exploring fit. Show up with enthusiasm for your project. Also, don't be vague. This is the worst time to be cagey or vague about what you're looking for. Be specific about what you're looking for and what's not working for you. Also, don't ask for free strategy or design work on a consultation call. Things like, well, what would you do with my site, is asking them to work for free. The only exception to this might be if you are working with a designer that offers paid discovery calls. This is something that is out there in the industry, and this is a situation where some designers, you will have a much longer call with them, maybe an hour or more, where you are going through all of these strategy discussions, and they'll come up and present you with a web design strategy much more in depth than actual package, and you do pay for that. And the expectation is that regardless of whether or not you hire them to move forward with your web design project, you've still paid for that strategy. So you pay for their expertise and your time, and so you can walk away with that strategy whether or not you go forward with a project with them or not. So that would be the exception to getting in depth on strategy discussions and asking for feedback on that on a discovery call. Finally, we talked about this before, but don't hide your budget. It wastes everybody's time. So what should you expect after your discovery or consultation call? Depending on their specific process, most designers will typically send a follow-up email within a day or two. They might also generate a proposal and quote if you've all decided it's a good fit, and be available to answer any additional questions you may have following the call. And finally, if it's not a fit for one or both of you, hopefully they'll be able to refer you elsewhere to where it might be a better fit if they're not the right match for you. Now, if the designer just disappears and you don't hear back from them, that's valuable information too. I go into this a lot more depth in a video about red flags to look for when hiring a web designer, so you can check that out if you haven't seen that already. To wrap this all up here, showing up prepared to your consultation call makes you a dream client before you've even hired anyone. It shows that you're organized, that you value your time and the designer's time, and that you're serious about your business and this investment. And it also ensures that you are going to get the most value from that short 20 to 30-minute conversation. So now you'll be much better prepared for your first call with a potential web designer. The next video in the series is our final video. And in that video, I'm going to be sharing a simple resource that's going to help take the mystery out of the tech speak surrounding websites and help boost your confidence when you're talking with designers or DIYing your own project. I hope this series has been helpful to you. If it has, I'd love to hear from you down in the comments. And also, please share it with another business owner you might know who might be navigating this whole website process themselves. Thanks so much for watching and letting me be your confidence catalyst through this journey. And I will see you in the final video.